So hello guys, in this video we will be discussing another beautiful question from the topic called as array. In this video we will be discussing a question called as repeating element in an array. So let's discuss what does exactly this question means. You will be given an array of size n, and in whole array there will be only one element that will be repeating. Rest all the elements inside the array will have exactly one appearance. For example, in this whole array 2 is repeated thrice, but rest all the elements inside the array are occurred only once. So the main goal of this question is to find the element which is repeated more than one. So there are a number of ways to solve these questions, and let's check the best optimal way to look for the solution for this problem. So whenever we look at this problem, the one solution that comes in our mind is we simply running the to loop. We will be calling this as a brute force algorithm. So let's call this is a brute force. So what we will be doing is we are going to compare this element with rest all the element, checking that either this 2 has occurred any other point apart from index 0. So for this what we will do is we simply keep iterating from 0 to 7 to 7. So what we will do, we will keep the one pointer over here, let's call as I, and let's here we will keep as another pointer, we will call it as a j. So what we will do is we simply compare the element present at the jth index. Is it equal to 2? No, move ahead. Is it equal to 2? No, move ahead. Is it equal to 2? Absolutely yes. Then what we need to do is we simply returns the a of I, because 2 has occurred more than once. Then the question comes, why do we haven't checked any other element inside the array? The reason we haven't checked is because there is only single element in the array which is repeated more than once. So we will write an algorithm for it. So how does this looks like? Say for example, this is an outer loop, I equal to 0, I is less than n, and I plus plus, and we need to check from j is equal to I plus 1, and j is less than n, j plus plus. So what we do is we basically check if my a of I is equal to a of j, then what I need to do is I simply need to return a of I. So this is the brute force algorithm. If we talk about the time complexity of this algorithm, then what will be the time complexity of this algorithm? This loop for sure is going to run for big of n time, and this loop is for sure will run for big of n time. I am talking about the worst case. Say for example, in place of 7, if this is 2 is there, and here we got a 7, and here we got say for example 8, then what will happen? This whole j will come up to end of an array. Now suppose one more solution, say for example here we got a n 8, then what will happen? The ith index will also cover almost whole array. This is the reason why this loop will run for big of n time, and this loop will run for big of n time. Therefore total time, so the total time complexity of this question will be big of n square. Now the question comes, can we do it better than this? Can we get a solution which gives us a minimum time complexity than big of n square? Let's check forward. So let's take one more example in this. Say for example, if I have 0, 2, 1, 7, 8, 2 and 9. So this is my index. So what I will do is I will keep one extra data structure which will help us to check whether that element has occurred before this. If it is occurred before this, what we will do is we simply return that element, and if not, what we'll do is we simply put that element inside that data structure. Say for example, we got this data structure. Now we will check 0. Is it 0 present inside this data structure? No. We will simply put 0 inside this data structure. Now comes 2. Is it 2 present inside this data structure? No. So simply put 2 in the data structure. Now check 1. Is it 1 is present inside this? No. Simply put as 1. 7. Is it 7 is present? No. 7. Put 7. 8. Is it 8 present inside this? No. Put it. Now comes 2. Look at here. Now comes 2. Now what will happen? Is the 2 present inside data structure? Yes. The 2 is already present. So what we will do is we simply return as a 2, because we got to do it. We need a data structure such that the searching time is so less. So for this purpose we come across a new data structure which we call as a set, but not as a traditional set we will be using a set which is basically used for hashing. So we will be using unordered set. In unordered set, the searching time is nearly equals to big of 1 time. So it will not be taking more time to search the element whether it is present inside the my data structure or not. So let's write a code for this. I hope so you understand the dry run of this algorithm. So let's check for this. So what we will do is we simply run a loop. First we will declare the unordered set. Let's say called as US. Then what we will do, we will run a loop for an array I equals to 0, I is less than n, and I plus plus. So what we will do is we will simply check whether US dot find a of I. If this is not equal to US dot end, which means the element which I am looking for is present inside the set. So simply what I will do is I simply return that element because the element which I am looking for is present inside the set. So I will simply return a of I. Else what I will do is I simply put that element inside the set. Why? Because that element is not present inside the set. So simply I will try to put that element inside the set. So this is the algorithm we will be discussing. Then what will be the time complexity for this? So for this it will be taking big of n time, and to find the element it will be taking big of 1 time. So therefore the overall time complexity will be big of n. If we talk about the space complexity, will also be big of n in worst case. So this is the main algorithm we will be discussing about how to find the duplicate element inside an array, and this algorithm gives us optimal solution because the one algorithm which we saw earlier, this gave us the big of n square time algorithm, whereas this gives us big of n time, which is much better than the previous algorithm. Now let's check by running this question on the online compiler. So this is the question we come across from the Coding Ninja platform. You can try this. We will simply need to find the duplicate element inside the array. So what we will do is we simply declare unordered set. See, when you are writing the code, giving a proper name to the variable is really important. We cannot use any name because it totally reduces your code quality. So what I will do is I simply start traversing the whole array. Now I'm going to check if is my element present inside the set. If yes, which means it's not equal to n, then what I need to do is I need to simply return the it, which means I need to simply return that element. Otherwise what I need to do is I need to simply insert that element inside the set. I hope so this makes sense. So let's try to submit the code. I hope so this will get up. Yes. Okay, so this is all about this question. I hope so you understand every single concept behind finding the duplicate element inside the array.